Hello everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio, and today is the first day of the new game from Pick a Stick Challenge, our Facebook group with Peg Robinson and I, where we pick sticks and use those prompts to make an art journal page. This one, it's the first one of 2018, the first one of the changes, and I didn't do anything super crazy different. Didn't push the box that much. I just basically was trying to make sure that everything works out okay. So the first prompt, and remember these are now one-word prompts, so they're really fluid, and you could do so many different things with a one-word prompt, but I went simple. The first prompt was brush, and so I used a stenciling brush and a new stencil. I really just kind of wanted to use my new stencil that I got for Christmas. It has kind of jungly leaves on it, and I used some Dylusions paint. I think it's Dirty Martini chopped pesto, and then I used to blend with that some Titan Buff acrylic paint. And I don't usually use a stencil brush. In fact, hardly ever, but I've had these forever. I actually stenciled my bedroom once, and this was a long time ago, and that's what these brushes are from. And so I thought, well, I have a new stencil. I'll use a stencil brush and see how that works. There's so many other options I could have chosen, but I wanted to see. And actually a stencil brush works pretty well with a stencil. Imagine that. Stupid thing was made to do that, right? Why am I using sponges? Probably because I don't want to clean out the brush. That's probably why. So step 2 was curl. And my original idea that I thought I was going to do was to take some paper and curl it using a pair of scissors to make curly paper and put it on there. But I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go with something simple, and so I just I drew some curled frond type grass something using a drawing pencil, HB graphite, and then one of the color choices that I picked when I picked the sticks this month was khaki, and I just wanted to see how hard it would be to make khaki paint, since I don't actually own any. So I'm using the Decoart Media Fluid paints, and I start with some titanium white, and then I add in some raw sienna and some Viridian, and that doesn't seem warm enough. And then I also have some Payne's gray there. So I decide to add in some I guess the brown was the burnt sienna, and then I added in the raw sienna, which is a yellow color. And that's the exact color of khaki pants, because I got some khaki pants and I compared after the fact, long after the fact, but they were just sitting on the bed, so I'm like, is this the right color? Yeah, it is. It's kind of a greenish tan. When I picked that color with the sticks, I was like, bleh, I don't like that color, and I don't. But for this particular, what I used it for, it worked out great. Just kind of looks like some dry grasses. So I gave that a good dry, and then the next step was to have a cat. And my whole inspiration for the whole page was this picture of a tiger kind of stalking through the jungle grasses, like he's gonna come out and he's gonna pounce on something. And so that was a picture that it's actually I have on my computer. I have this like a thing that changes the background when your monitor goes to sleep. There's a new background every time. And it was a picture on there, and I looked at it and I said, hey, that looks like khaki grass, and that's a tiger, and the tiger is a cat. Hey, I could do that. So I'm making a drawing, and I drew it on deli paper because I thought I was going to paper piece it. But then after I got it on there, or I got it all drawn, I thought to myself, that's too much. I don't want to paper piece it. So I just ended up doing just a plain old acrylic painting, plain old boring acrylic painting. Sorry, guys. But one benefit to drawing on like a tracing paper or something translucent like that is that because I knew those frond things needed to show and I didn't want to completely cover them up, I wanted it to appear as though the cat was behind them, like hiding behind them, sneaking his little head out to peek. I could position it well by using the deli paper, and I just decided to go ahead and collage the deli paper right on there. I cut out the place where the frond goes across his face, and then just added a few lines back in, and then got some Dylusions paint. I think that's squeezed orange, fresh orange or something, coffee bean, and black marble. Yeah. And whenever we think about tigers, we're like, oh yeah, tigers are orange. But in the picture, the tiger, yeah, it was an orangey color, but more like a rust, not a bright in-your-face orange. So I mixed a little bit of that fresh squeezed orange, I think it's called. These Dylusions paints. I can't remember the names. I will list all the stuff that I used in the description box below with links to Amazon if you would like to purchase it. Then that way I'll go back and look and see what the color is. But anyway, I mixed a little bit of the orange and the brown together to make more of like a rusty color, and then went back in with this straight orange and did some highlights. And that worked out well for the color of what I felt like the tiger should be. And then I also added in some titanium white, the second color that I picked this month. And remember, you don't have to use these colors if you're not feeling the colors. That's fine. These are an option, but I probably will be using the colors because the whole point is that I want some new color combinations that are random, that I wouldn't have thought of myself, but that might turn out really great. And that's the reason that I added in the color sticks. So I'm using them unless I hate them so much that I decide not to, but so far, yeah. So the other color anyway, I don't know if I said the other color is white. How boring is that? Khaki and white. Here I am looking for some crazy, super neat combination that I'm going to love for the rest of the year, and I pick khaki and white. It's almost like a school uniform or something. A cat in a school uniform, that's what it should have been. Anyway, I'm using the coffee bean dark brown color and the black to fill in details, and then also this titanium white to add highlights and add places. There's a lot of places on the tiger's face that are white, actually. A lot more than I expected. I just, I think in my head it's an orange and black stripy thing. I don't think about like all the different variations of color where it's kind of brown, it's kind of orange, it's kind of black, it's kind of white, it's kind of cream colored. And so I'm kind of doing some wet on wet blending. I'm, adding the colors here, adding the colors there. Just, your standard acrylic painting. Nothing too fancy. And the brushes that I'm using are not acrylic brushes, they're watercolor brushes, and so I do get kind of a sloppy application because I should be using a stiffer brush, but I like these brushes. So I was going to get out yellow to make his eyes real yellow, but then I just decided to go ahead and use that same orangey color and then mix it with a little bit of titanium white to make it glow so that his eyes would be a little bit glowy. At the very end, I end up adding some gold glitter to his eyes because, they should sparkle. Cat's eyes sparkle and shine and have some sort of a, I don't know, a glimmer to them. So I hope that everyone is planning on doing the challenges this year. There has already been several posted in the group. If you would like to join in and you haven't yet, just simply use the link in the description box below to the Facebook group. And when you go over there, when you ask to join, be sure that you answer the questions that are given on the application. If you don't, we will remind you, and then we will wait around until you do it, because we want to make sure that everyone is aware of what type of group this is and what's acceptable to post in there. It's all about the challenges. It's not about anything else. So we don't allow any other posts in there. So once you do that, then there are places for you to put your challenge pictures of, you know, the page that you've done, or there's also an artist trading card challenge. So those are there for you to put your pictures in there so everyone can have a place to look at all of them at once. And it's a lot of fun, so I hope you join in. Also in the description box below the video will be a link to Peg's video using the same prompt challenge as me, and you can go to that one next and see what she did that's different than what I did, which it'll be completely different because our styles are very, very different. So I'll be anxious to watch it just as much as you. I'm excited to see how our new challenge is working out. So I finished up with adding in some more white highlights and just kind of wet in wet blending, which made it kind of turn into like a light yellowish cream color. And my painting is almost complete. That tiger is going to pounce out and get something. I don't know if it's you or if it's me or if it's an antelope. I'm not sure, but he or she, I'm not even sure whether it's a he or she, looks ready to pounce for sure. I guess I went back in and added in some more black in some areas, some more stripes and dots and things. But I promise, we're almost done. We're almost done with the painting part. Sometimes when I watch videos, I push the little slider thing forward to get through stuff. I wonder if I'm the only one who does that. There was some extra titanium white left over, so I just used it to add a highlight to my curly frond grass thingy majiggers. I don't know, because it was left and I just didn't want to waste it. And it makes them look more dimensional. The next step was pad, and I thought about a lot of different things that I could do. I thought, oh, I could draw or add some sort of a hut or something so that it could be the pad the cat lives in. You know, like a pad is in a place where you live. You know, that old way of saying it. Or maybe something to do with the pads of the feet of the cat, or I didn't know. But then I decided I had these brand new ink pads that I got for Christmas, and so I just decided to put some of that on. So that's using a pad. And then I tried to drip some water on there because these are the oxides, but yeah, I need to play with them a lot and figure out, you know, what they do. And that really didn't do anything, so I just wiped it off. And that was the prompt pad, ink pad. And then the next prompt number 5, is illustrate. And I've obviously already drawn something. I've already illustrated the cat or whatever, but I didn't put in a lot of lines. So I just got out my black Posca pen and added a lot of illustration lines around the grasses and around the cat, and added in, like, I don't know, some hash marks, some different stuff, thinner and thicker lines, just using my white Posca, I mean not white, black Posca pen. So that was my illustrating. I didn't make a whole new illustration, but I already did it, so I thought this was good enough to cover the prompt. I think that it is. I did a lot of refining on the cat. I didn't draw anything new, but I used the pen to refine a lot of the lines where they were getting kind of messy from the brush when I painted them on. They weren't real precise, and since I've now drawn illustration lines around all the frond, grass frond things, it seemed like I needed to have some more clear and concise lines on the tiger as well. Of course, tigers are furry, so if I had just left it, it just would be fine because it just looks like fur, right? It's not sloppy, it's just furry. But I thought it looked better when I added in all the lines, or, you know, here and there, not like outlining every single thing from top to bottom, but just kind of touching up and refining lines. I need a story to tell. I don't have one. I'm just drawing lines. I don't have anything to say. Hopefully it ends soon. I don't have anything to say about tigers, really. I have seen tigers at a zoo before. I've never seen any tigers in, you know, the wild because I don't live somewhere, nor have I visited anywhere where they do live. But I think if I did see one in the wild, I would be scared. So they are predators. We do have bobcats in the wash behind our house occasionally, and I have seen them, but they're a lot smaller than a big old tiger that can take it down an antelope. I'm not sure what these little hash marks and lines are supposed to be on these grasses. It just, I don't know, gives it a little bit of detail. So then the final step of the 6 that are required is grimy. And my idea was that I was going to make like a glaze and really antique this out with some glaze. But that pad, the Distress Oxide, was not dry. Not even a little bit dry, even though I had dried it with the heat tool. And so I just smeared it and rubbed it around, and that made my page look very grimy, aged, grungy. So I didn't think I needed to do anything else. I didn't think I needed to mix up any glaze or anything. So then I thought that my page was a little bit unbalanced with a lot of action at the bottom and not so much at the top. So I decided to add some words, and the entire time that I was drawing the tiger, I was thinking about this song. I always thought it was Rumble in the Jungle. And you can leave a comment below if you thought that this song was also Rumble in the Jungle. It's a Jethro Tull song. And it's apparently Bumble or Bungle in the Jungle. Bungle. I don't know what bungle means. I know what bundle means if you combine your auto insurance with your house insurance, you know. Or if you bundle up because it's cold. I don't know what bungle means. But in fact, I think bungle means like being clumsy. But yes, I looked up the words to the song, and it's bungle. So yeah, whatever that means. I don't know. So I put the chorus on there using my little label maker. Drew some lines around that, add a little bit of white highlight in his eyes, and then I did eventually add some gold glitter stickles in his eyes too. So that's it for me. Please give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment, subscribe, turn on your notification bell. Share if you want to. That's it for me. Bye-bye.